April marks the start of a new tax year, and with it brings a load of hype about stocks and shares ISAs. So to help explain what's going on, today I'm joined by Sam from IG, who's going to talk to us all about stocks and shares ISAs and spotlight some potential upcoming trends. What is a stocks and shares ISA?
A stocks and shares ISA is a way to invest for your future. The key thing with that account type is it protects your investments from future tax. Anything bought and sold within that wrapper is not liable for capital gains tax, dividend tax.
So it could be a way to maximise your savings.
Exactly. So when you put your money to work in investments, you want to see a return over time. So what you're getting is the before tax returns, and that's compounded at a higher rate than if you were to take off some tax and then compound at that kind of lower return. So over time, it's really meaningful.
And very simply, how do they work exactly? Do you invest and then put the profits into the ISA, or do you put your money in and then it's invested?
Yeah, so I mean, there's lots of providers out there that offer a stocks and shares ISA. So essentially, you'll find the provider that you want to go with. There'll be people that are very low cost, people that are high cost but may have more features and benefits for you. So it's finding your kind of where you want to sit on the value for money spectrum. So you'll sign up for an account with them, you'll then fill in your details, and then you'll fund the account with your savings. And then you can pick and choose what investments you want to select. So you could opt to pick individual stocks, for instance, if you're confident in finding companies that you think are undervalued or kind of have good potential. Otherwise, you could look to diversify your money by investing in some funds. And at IG, we've got a selection of ready-made portfolios for people who want to get diversification. So spreading your investments across stock markets, bonds, commodities, gold, for instance. So there is a real kind of big universe of different options for you as an investor.
And how much would a stocks and shares ISA set me back? So
there's lots of people now that offer a stocks and shares ISA for free. The things to look out for would be an account fee. Does your platform or app charge you on an ongoing basis for holding your investments? So for instance, that could be a percentage fee where they just take a percentage of the assets that you hold with them. Or it could be a flat fee, so it could be £5, £10, £15 a month. So that's one thing to look out for. Another important consideration is every time you trade, your broker might charge a small commission. And again, that will vary by your provider. FX fees, for instance, so whenever you buy an investment that's listed overseas, in your ISA, you have to fund that using cash. So one thing to just think about is when you buy that overseas stock, for instance, say I was buying shares in Amazon, I need to convert my pounds to dollars. And normally your stocks and shares ISA provider will charge a very small percentage when converting those fees. So it's not a cost you kind of see, but it's something just to be aware of because there's some that charge much higher rates than others. So those are probably the three main fees as an investor to look for.
Now is a very important time for stocks and shares ISAs. We're in April. Can you explain why that is?
Sure. So we've just gone the start of the new tax year. So at midnight on the 5th of April, the tax year finishes. And then essentially for a stocks and shares ISA, you will be given a new annual allowance to use. Last year and for this year, the allowance for the stocks and shares ISA was £20,000. That's a big sum of money. The average person in the UK probably would kind of do well to save up £2,000 a year. So for lots of people, it's probably an unrealistic target to hit. So there's two different ISA individual saving account types. You've got your cash ISA, which are very, very popular, but have drawbacks, which I can come on to. And then you also have your stocks and shares ISA. And your £20,000 allowance covers both of those. So for instance, if I was saving for a house in 2 years' time, I might not want to risk that capital or my money in the stock market now. So I might want that £10,000 in a cash ISA. Whereas my other £10,000, if I had it, could go in that stocks and shares ISA. So you can split the money across, and you can fund one cash ISA with one provider and one stocks and shares ISA with another. So for instance, a cash ISA at your bank, and then a stocks and shares ISA with an investments provider.
And what are those values, or what are the differences between those sort of two different types of ISAs?
Yeah, so with a cash ISA, you'll normally get paid a percentage on the money that you put in there. Now, with interest rates at kind of record lows, although they are starting to climb, inflation is far, far above the rate you could reasonably expect to receive on a cash ISA. So what economists call in real terms, the value of your cash within that cash ISA is losing purchasing power. So say prices in general, a basket of goods and services go up 5%, but your cash ISA only gives you a 1% interest rate. Your money is losing 4% in value. So generally in this kind of climate, that isn't a great way to invest for the long run. Instead, you should think about maybe looking to create a diversified portfolio, which over the last 100 years, for instance, stocks have returned 7% a year, which has outstripped inflation by quite a large percent. So to grow your money over the long term, if you've got the risk appetite, you should focus on a stocks and shares ISA.
How can people maximise their stocks and shares ISA, either sort of during this period we're in at the moment, at the beginning of the tax year, or in general throughout the year?
It just comes down to saving. So some people might be in a much kind of fortunate position than others, and there'll be a lot of people in the UK where prices are going up. It's very hard to save. But for those that are fortunate enough to be able to save on a regular basis, I think the best option is to kind of, when you do get paid by your employer, or if you are self-employed, just setting up an automated process where you don't think about it and it just automatically kind of gets saved into your ISA. You can then pick and choose your investments on a monthly basis, or some providers give you the option to just invest that money into preset investments automatically, which is very easy to do. And
could it be as little as like 50 quid a month?
Yeah. So some people might have a higher threshold, but nowadays a lot of investment providers will allow people to invest with a small amount of money.
What have you seen IG investors like tending to invest in at the beginning of a tax year?
Sure, so I think in the calendar year 2021, so last year, we saw a big trend in UK investors opting to pick and choose US shares. Sectors such as technology were really interesting. Healthcare stocks were also booming. So things like technology stocks like Apple, Amazon, Tesla, all very popular amongst IG clients. Fast forward to the start of this year, and we've seen a bit of a shift. So more IG clients are now buying UK stocks, and that's because inflation has increased quite substantially. The Bank of England and other central banks around the world are looking to start to increase their interest rates. And with inflation high, sectors like energy stocks, for instance, the price of gas has gone up dramatically. So stocks like BP, Shell are starting to become more interesting because their earning potential has gone up. And then, for instance, as well, with interest rates starting to rise, financials like the banks are starting to become a bit more popular. So like Barclays, Lloyds, after a long period of underperformance.
And would you expect these trends to continue throughout this year?
Definitely over this year, we're going to hopefully see inflation start to peak, but potentially remain at a much higher level than it was pre-COVID. One thing to think about is kind of owning the problem. So if inflation's high, then owning these kind of commodity producers, gold miners, for instance, it could be a potentially good play.
We've definitely seen a real shift in sort of the way people find new stocks, for example, like through meme culture and like social media and things like that, which has attracted like a younger generation of investors. Is this trend reflected in IG investors? And do you think this will kind of like impact investing habits in this tax year?
Yeah, so I mean, similar to all investment platforms here in the UK, we did see a big rise in the younger audience getting kind of increasing their interest in investing for their future, and there was a big interest in stocks like GameStop, AMC, things like that. That's sort of slowed down a bit, but what's important for achieving long-term investing goals as this younger audience will probably find that those stocks have a very high volatility. Some of them might have done very well, some of them less so. But what's important to reach your financial goals over the long term is constructing a diversified portfolio. That might mean kind of putting your money in a fund that invests in lots of different stock exchanges, some bonds maybe, some commodities and other alternative investments, and then maybe using a smaller pot of money to invest in some of your favourite stocks to keep things interesting.
So my final question for you is, what advice would you give someone who is about to open their first stocks and shares ISA?
It'd probably be to pick and choose some investments which is incredibly boring, I'm so sorry. But pick a collection of funds which gives you kind of good diversification. I mean, there are ready-made portfolios out there, like IG's collection of smart portfolios, which gives you that diversification instantly, and takes the investment picking out of your hands, because we'll take your money and invest it for you, and we'll manage that on an ongoing basis to kind of navigate any changes in kind of the market or the economy. So that's a kind of a park it and leave it, and then your role is just to continuously add funds to that account. If you want a more active approach, again, it would be kind of trying to replicate that, but maybe what you could do, you could pick some shares that you're interested in to keep things interesting for the long term.
Say I started with a more hands-off portfolio, and during the year I build a bit of my investing confidence up and I want to start getting a bit more like hands-on with it. Is it possible to change styles throughout the year?
Absolutely. So at IG we offer the ready-made portfolios and a platform where you can pick and choose your own shares, ETFs and investment trusts. And what I say to clients is put your money in one of our ready-made portfolios and then see if you can beat that if you do want to go at it alone. And over a year, say, you can compare your returns across the two accounts. If you've done really well, then maybe, yeah, why not do it yourself? But if not, then maybe move some of that money back into the portfolio and then you can keep that on the side, as some people like to have some play money on the side to keep things interesting, as I said.